Hello, everyone. It's so good to have you here. Welcome to this free workshop on how to create or attract consistent clients and customers like magic. I am Natalie Wallstein, career astrologer at Soulshine Astrology, and I'm really excited to present this workshop. I am a Pisces, so I love the idea of things being magical and easy. And this is something, this consistent customers that come in like magic, it's something that I've been able to create for my business. So I'm excited to share with you how I did it and how you can do it too, because I know that it's something that so many people I work with tend to struggle with. It's usually like one of the main reasons why people come to me. They feel like things aren't flowing or working, and they can tell that because they're not getting that consistent flow of business. So, when we start our own businesses based on our soul gifts, it's very exciting. But one of the things that can be very scary is whether or not you can actually attract an ongoing flow of those new customers, new business, new sales, new clients, whatever kind of business you have. It feels so good to finally be able to do what you love, and maybe getting to that point where you're actually running a business is was like a really big deal to begin with. I'm sure you have some amazing story on how you got to that point, but it can often take a while for your work to catch on to the point where you're making those sales often enough to be able to fully support yourself without always worrying so much about where the next sale is going to be coming from. And this is something that so many business owners face no matter how long you've been running your business, whether you're in your first month, your first year, or maybe you've been doing this for several years. Maybe you haven't started and you're just here collecting information. That's totally fine. But feel free to say hello in the chat so you know you're in good company with fellow astrology lovers, fellow spiritual entrepreneurs. I see Catherine from Hudson, Wisconsin. Hello. Cool. Australia. Hi, Carla. Hi, Sarah from Athens, Charlotte in Oregon. Someone from Sydney, Australia. There's spiritual entrepreneurs all over the world, you guys. How exciting is this? Betsy in Minneapolis. Awesome. Wonderful. So, back to attracting consistent customers. If you haven't learned how to feed the flow of new customers, you're going to constantly be on this sort of like hamster wheel of always needing to find new customers until you can create the type of vibe or energy that will begin to attract them to you more naturally without needing to always be hustling or working so hard for it or always be worrying where the next person is going to come from. Because I know your work is so valuable and you're completely worthy of having these sales. That's not the issue. The issue is that learning to market yourself can be a new skill. And I want to teach you how to vibrate the expertise that you already hold within you and help you shine it forth so that people can feel it right away when they come across your work and they don't need to dig around so much to find out whether you're a good person to invest their money in or maybe not the right person. I remember when I was first starting out as an astrologer 6 years ago, I mainly offered written reports, and they were like people's birth charts. Maybe some of you have even gotten one in the past, the Cosmic Career Blueprint. And that was selling pretty well because it was something that I could easily just like take pictures of and show people what it was. But when I tried to move into one on one sessions, I was feeling a little more confident about being able to actually talk to people and tell them about their astrology chart. I had some trouble getting it to take off. I had this big wall calendar next to my desk with all these slots that I wanted to fill with clients or my astrology readings. And I would write their name in when I booked one in. And I was always kind of looking at how many slots that I had open that I needed to fill in the month ahead to make a living, to pay my bills, to reach my goals, right? And often I was booking really soon in advance. So a lot of times I would have no idea who my clients were going to be in the next week or where I was going to get them. And even when I did get a client, I would quickly spend that money. Like I'd get someone booking in, I'd be so excited and really looking forward to giving them an astrology reading. And then I would just like go to the grocery store and I would proceed to spend all of that money. And I come home with all these wonderful groceries that, of course, I'm going to eat and they're going to be gone in no time. And I'd wonder, why don't I ever have enough money? And where am I going to get more clients for next week? And is that even going to be enough money? So I totally understand. Does anyone ever feel that way? Is anyone else at that point in your business? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, you can totally get over that hurdle. It's something that pretty much everyone faces in the beginning. So, when I was having this problem of buying groceries and then having no more money left, I did what any smart person would do. And I decided that I was going to get a job at the grocery store so I could get a discount on my groceries. We have Whole Foods here in the United States. And I went down there for a job interview. And guess what? I didn't get the job. I had been running my own business for so long because before I was an astrologer, I was a graphic designer, that even the grocery store didn't want to hire me. I was unhireable at a real job. So I really had no choice but to make my business work. It's funny because before I went in for the job interview, I was in the car and I got there a little bit early, and you're feeling all nervous to go in for the interview. So I picked a tarot card on my phone and it was not a very good one. So I kind of had a feeling I wasn't going to get it. But luckily, I had a friend like that week who had just gotten into coaching, and we both agreed to trade with each other. So she gave me a free coaching session. It was just life coaching, it wasn't even business coaching. And I gave her one of those written astrology reports that I was offering. So we traded. And when I talked to her for my session, she asked me how many clients that I needed to get where I wanted to be. And I said I wanted 6 per week. So she said was, "Okay, go get your 6 clients and then check in with me by the end of the week." And that's all she said. She didn't give me advice on how to get those clients. She said, "Okay, go get them and tell me when you got them." And since I hadn't gotten my grocery store discount job, I really had to make it work. And the challenge of knowing that I was going to need to check in with this coach on Friday was a lot of motivation for me, because I always love to please other people and be that overachiever. So I'm not even sure what I actually did that week. I will be giving you lots of tips and resources on what you can do, of course. But it was really the belief in myself that kicked it all off. Because before that, I didn't believe in myself. I'm out there getting a job, right? And like, kind of sad. But amazingly, I managed to get those 6 clients that week. And that was more than I had ever gotten at that point in a week. Like I was booked out. So it was really being in the right mindset that was so important in the beginning. I needed to believe that I really could do it. And because I believed, or I felt the pressure to believe because I needed money, I showed up and I did what I thought someone would do who does attract the amount of clients that I wanted to attract. So, of course, I am going to first encourage you to know, what is that number for you? How many customers do you wish you had coming in order to feel successful and financially supported? Right. And we want to keep in mind your personal expenses, your business expenses, taxes. That's something nobody told me about when I first started running my business, that you have to set aside money for taxes off of all of your sales. And it can be quite a lot of money, especially if you didn't realize you're supposed to set it aside. So, do you know what your number is already? Do you know how many customers you need in a week to get by? And not only get by, but like, reach your goals, pay your bills, set aside savings, like move forward with your finances. And the second thing is, do you believe that you really can make it happen? So that's the beginning. So I want everyone to close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to really see yourself making those sales. So imagine you go to check your email in the morning, got your cup of coffee or tea, and it is the most natural thing in the world to actually check your email and see a stream of sales that came in overnight. This happens for you every single day, and it's so normal and doable for you. And then I want you to imagine at the end of the week, when you go and check your bank balance and you transfer money for bills and whatever else you need to do with your financial check in, you have more than enough money to do that. It's not a problem. You're not worried. It's just like, okay, I'm going to go pay my bills. I have more than enough money, transfer my money into savings. So, really feel the energy of that and visualize it. See it becoming real. That's the first step. So, you can open your eyes when you feel ready and take a deep breath. Come back to us. So that's the beginning, is the belief, because a lot of times we're used to not seeing the sales. So we're like, oh my gosh, it's not going to happen for me. So when you can really tap into that energy, you're like, okay, that's what it feels like. I can get there, right? Okay, so now let's get into the practical steps of what you can actually do to receive more sales once you are clear on what you want, like how much you actually need, and you believe you can have it. So, what does it take to attract consistent customers like magic, where you're not worried, you're not hustling, you're not spending every workday being like, where am I going to get more people to care about my work? People need to be able to trust you. And when you buy anything, think about yourself as a buyer because you buy things too. You have to trust the company that you're buying from. You have to trust the product that you are buying. You have to trust that it's going to actually solve your problem. You're going to have to feel like you want this energy in your life and it's going to actually help you, right? So, everything I'm going to be sharing today is how to create that sense of trust so that it's easy. It's an easy decision for someone to be like, oh, okay, I see who you are. I see what you do. And clearly you can help me. So, ka-ching, 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 money in the bank for you. The first thing is to tell your customers or potential customers at this point that you're an expert. It's something that a lot of us forget to do. Maybe you have imposter syndrome or something like that, but it's so important that you have a clear mission statement on your website and your social media so that people know right away who you are, what you do, how you do it, and why you do it. And in this statement, you're saying, I'm an expert. I know what I'm doing. I'm the person to go to for this. Especially when we're first starting out, we're thinking, oh boy, I'm not really good at this yet, but you guys, I can give you an astrology reading if you want. I just started, but let me just try. No, 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 no. You need to go out there guns a blazing. Like, I am the person to go to for this because if you don't believe it, they're not going to believe it. So, that's clear mission statements, really important. Be confident in saying you are who you are. Let go of imposter syndrome and just be who you want to be now. How do you let go of imposter syndrome? People always want to like hear a whole big explanation and a practice to try. You literally just say you are who you want to be known as. Like when I first said I'm an astrologer, it was awkward, but you say it enough times and you're like, okay, yes, this is what I am. Or even back in time, even more than that, when I wanted to be a graphic designer, calling myself an artist was like really weird. I'm like, I'm not really an artist. So you have to get past that. And you just get past that by saying you are who you want to be, because guess what happens? You become it. present yourself as a reputable person, this expert. So, not only telling people you're an expert, but showing them who you are and showing yourself as an expert. So, like in your photos, hopefully you have photos of yourself. A lot of beginning business owners don't even have photos of themselves. And that makes it really hard for people to trust you when they can't even see who's going to be doing the work. In these photos, you want to show yourself as the living outcome of the work you do. So show yourself, like if you help moms, show yourself as a mom. You don't have to show your kids necessarily, but what does a mom do? Where is like her natural habitat, for example? Or like I'm a career astrologer, so I share photos of myself sitting at a desk in my office, surrounded by mystical, fun, colorful objects, looking thrilled because I'm doing what I love and I'm going to help you do what you love too. So show yourself doing the work you actually do or living the life that you want to help others create. And that's going to help people trust you so much faster than just like typing words behind a screen and sharing like graphics you made on Canva or something. You really have to own your expertise and be it and embody it. Also, that's one thing is having the picture. But another thing is when you write about your work, let your personality shine through because people buy from people. They don't really want you to be perfect. They just want to get to know you. And they're not going to be able to do that if you're being like very, like almost too professional. Something that I run into a lot with my clients who come from corporate backgrounds is they then go into work being a healer, for example, and they're trying to sell their healing work the same way they got like the job interview for their corporate job. And that may have worked in that setting, but to be honest, in like the healing industry, in like spiritual entrepreneur type industries, people don't care about your degrees. They don't care how long you went to school. They don't necessarily care who you studied under. They just want to know that you can solve their problem, that you understand them, that you're someone they want the energy of in their life. So instead of starting with, like, I am going to use my many degrees to put together a master plan and strategy for you to achieve XYZ. People want to know, like, how have you struggled? What have you been through? You don't need to be like, you don't need to like let it all hang out in like a negative way, but just like let people get to know you and your story and your personality. And that's going to help them trust you also. Okay, the second thing after telling people you're an expert and showing them you're an expert is making sure you really understand the problem that your customers want to solve. So people need to be able to trust you as someone who's actually going to be able to solve their problem. Like I said, it doesn't really matter how many degrees you have. You can have that on your website, but I don't know. I don't have a degree in astrology. I didn't have a degree in graphic design, and that is not at all why people came to me to solve their problem. It was because I understood their problem. So when you understand someone's problem, like your customer's problem, you understand what the problem is, you understand why it needs to be solved, and you're able to explain why you even want to solve it too. In order to be able to explain that you understand your customer's problem in a simple way, because a lot of times we don't have a lot of time to read through things, we need to know right away as customers that the person we're buying from understands us. It might require you to actually brainstorm pages and pages of notes so that you can look at every angle of why they need this help in the first place. So often, like when I started my business as an astrologer, I just have all these notes in Google Docs on why do people want an astrologer? What do people usually know about astrology before they come to an astrologer? And I really thought about like every single thing about it, pages and pages, all to just be able to write a sentence that gets right to the point of the problem. You really need to get into your customer's head and see the problem from their perspective, not your perspective, from their perspective. So that means understanding how they're feeling, how they might perceive the solution that you have for them, and clearing that all up for them so that by the time they read through your sales page, they're like, okay, you understand me, you understand the problem, You seem to know how to solve it, and you seem like an enjoyable person to buy from. So let's give an example here. Let's say you're an intuitive coach and you help people see beyond the veil. So maybe you tap into like spirit guides or something like that so that they can understand their situation at a soul level that the customer may not be able to see for themselves. So a lot of people are intuitive coaches these days. So I thought this would be a good example because it's one of those fields where it's kind of hard to describe what you do sometimes. So that is the situation. But the problem is that the client would be feeling stuck, unsure of themselves. They might be going around in circles with the same problem. Maybe they're ignoring their intuition or they're not able to access their intuition because they're just like so overcome by the emotion of whatever their situation is. Maybe it's their job isn't going well or they're having trouble attracting love. I mean, there's so many things intuitive coaches can help with. And so, what they need as a client or customer is they need someone who can really see them for who they truly are and help them tap into a higher level of knowledge and guidance. So, it's like, it's not just like, oh, you need intuitive guidance, you want a coach. No, you need to really like kind of fill in the blanks, get really detailed about that problem. And this is something that you hear probably all the time in business, but are you actually kind of following through and doing it and explaining it? Is another thing. You need to show your potential customers that you understand every angle of how they're feeling, really get into their head. So, how do they feel right now about the problem? How do they want to feel? How did they even realize in the first place that they have this problem? Like, what is coming up in their experience of life that shows them that they need help? For example, if I sell astrology readings, someone might be realizing that them trying to solve their own problems, just like the logical way, isn't getting them anywhere. And they need more of like a mystical, soul centered solution to see past sort of like what society might want for them, or peers might have certain advice, but your soul can kind of tap into the deeper level of that, right? And then what else have they been trying to solve their problem and why hasn't it worked? So maybe they've like worked with, let's say my clients, let's say they've worked with the career coach and the career coach gave them really good tips for their resume, but even though they're applying for jobs, they're not really still feeling aligned with those jobs. Like, yeah, it might work for their expertise, but it's not where they want to be. And so something that I could mention is like, oh, you maybe worked with the career coach, but you're still not where you want to be because it hasn't worked because you didn't get to your soul level true desires deep down. And that's something astrology can help with. So, what else have your customers been trying to solve the problem and why doesn't it work? This is just another way to get into their head so that you're seeing things from their perspective. So this is all information that you would then go into detail with on your checkout page and anytime you would offer or mention your offering. So if you talk about it in an email that you're sending out or social media, but especially on the sales page, I find a lot of people have really short sales pages. Like they'll have me look at their website and they're like, book a Reiki session. And it's just like, okay, yeah, that's what they want, but you need to give them more of a reason and explain more about what's it going to entail, why they want it, and so on. So, something that I notice a lot that's a really big stumbling block for so many people, so many spiritual entrepreneurs, is that too many people over focus on their tools, like, whatever it is, painting, Reiki, Zoom, whatever. And they forget what people are looking to buy is not the tool, it's not the process, it's a particular outcome. So, for example, someone isn't just buying Reiki, they're buying peace, calm, and a moment of surrender. Someone isn't buying an astrology reading, they're buying clarity and confidence that they're on the right soul path, right? They're not even buying like lotion from Target. They're buying like this self care experience and soft skin. Okay. You get the picture. So if you have services that you sell, don't just list, oh, you're going to get a 1 hour Zoom call with me. Ho, ho, ho. Don't you want that? What is the Zoom call for? What is the outcome going to be? What is happening during that call that is so valuable that it's going to change their life? Yes, you're holding space for them. Yes, you're spending time talking to them, but what's the outcome of that? Right? And if you're selling products, don't just list like the size and shape or the materials you're using for the product. Why were those materials chosen? What are the benefits of those materials or the way that your product is created or shipped, for example? People want to hear about these things because it helps them see if you align with their values and the value that they want to get out of working with you or buying from you as well. Okay, so that was step 2. Step 3, to creating trust so that you can attract consistent customers like magic, is to be discoverable. So, this is about creating evergreen content. Evergreen meaning content that anyone can find at any time and it will apply to them. So, it's not about the weather, the seasons, even like the astrological season. It's about something that people can read, watch, or listen to so that they can get to know you and your work anytime they might stumble on you. It could be midnight, it could be a Wednesday at 3:30, and maybe you're not even working that day, but they can find this content, they can learn about you and your work, and then they can go on to buy from you without you needing to actually physically be there all the time. So this is really about like using the internet to your advantage to give people a way in to understanding who you are, what you do. And again, without you needing to actually like constantly be explaining it to new people all the time, it's just like it lives on the internet for them to find anytime. So, for example, you might have a newsletter series. So, when people sign up to your newsletter, they get a series of emails that explain who you are, what you do, how you help, whether or not they're the right customer for this offering as well. You could do blog posts that people can find and learn a little bit about how you work or some information that educates them so that they're ready to work with you. For example, I might talk about, sun, moon, and rising sign and how it can help you find your ideal career because it shows my expertise and it kind of gives you a starting point to understand if I can help you more in like a session or some other offering. You could have podcast episodes. I have podcast episodes I released in 2018. People are still listening to them all the time. Like thousands of people a week are listening to episodes, whether or not I create a new one that week or even that month. It's there for them to find and learn about me and discover my work and buy from me. You could do YouTube videos, even your Instagram and Facebook. A lot of times people are putting up content that's very, it doesn't last long. It's sort of like only important if you saw it that day or that week. So, kind of like shifting your mindset to create content that would help anyone, any time of year, get to know you is going to make a really big difference for creating that consistent flow of customers. So this, like I said, this content can live on for months and years without you needing to be showing up sharing. So you might even do a lot of this content in the beginning of your business. And then after a while, you don't need to do it. Like you can just sit back and go on with your work and even live off of referrals after a while because people might mention your work to someone else. Then they go to your website, they find this content, and it's sort of like this 24/7 salesperson, but it's you in the past. The other thing is with this content that you create, media platforms will also be able to find it and they'll get a sense of what you do and what your energy is like so that they can feature you or collaborate with you. And this comes because you're really clear about who you are and what is special about what you do. And you give people ways to find out about you and learn about your work. So, for example, a blog or a podcast or even like a big media platform could find you, read about you, and also get ideas for what you can do together because you have this content out there. Like they can read your blog posts or listen to your podcast episodes, and they can be like, oh, she'd be a really good person to come on our podcast and talk about whatever. And they'll have a whole pitch ready to go to ask you if you want to come on, because they got that sense of who you were before, without you needing to reach out to them. That happens to me all the time. I don't think I've ever asked to be on anyone's podcast. People just ask me all the time. I've been on hundreds of them because I have this platform already created of evergreen content. So the other thing is, with these new audiences that you can get your work in front of, like whether you like someone pitches you to be on or you go out and pitch people, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you don't need to do it as much when you're really clear about your mission and message. This is going to lead to exponential growth. So instead of like a couple clients finding out about you, a whole audience of people find out about you. And again, this work can live on. So if you do a podcast interview 3 years ago, people can still listen to it. This is going to lead to exponential growth, booked out calendars, and a steady stream of customers without you always needing to be in marketing mode. So maybe in the beginning, you aim to do like one piece of content a week for a while, but then that builds up over time. And you don't need to be out there constantly sharing anymore. Like a lot of people say, you need to be on Instagram posting every day. No, you don't. As soon as you have enough content that's discoverable, you don't need to market it yourself as much. It doesn't need to be a full-time job to be on social media. So, also with this platform that you create for yourself that people can come and find and learn about you and read about your work, that's like when you know you're ready to pitch yourself, and you can go out and find other businesses who have a similar type of audience that you do but offer something different, and you can actually ask to team up with them. You can ask to be featured, you can ask to create bundles together. Maybe you want to teach a workshop together and you share it with both of your audiences. So you can be proactive about this as well. It's not always just about creating content and sitting back and waiting for people to find you. Eventually, that will build up more and more. But in the meantime, you can definitely reach out and work with others, like host a giveaway together, as long as your businesses make sense together and aren't competing with one another. That's another way to create that exponential growth that fuels this stream of clients and customers without you always needing to be doing it yourself. So, all of the things that I mentioned in today's workshop are something that I can take you through step by step in Cosmic Boss University. Cosmic Boss University is a 6-month program that I've created specifically for spiritual entrepreneurs to take you through the process of building up this consistent flow of clients and customers so that eventually it just happens like magic, like clockwork, and you're not constantly working all the time. I honestly only work a couple of hours a day and I help all the people I want to help. I make the money I want to make. And that's all because I laid the groundwork that I teach in this program. So, what is covered in this program? Everything is actually based on astrology because I want to make sure you're starting the right business, you're making business decisions in alignment with who you really are, how you're meant to show up and serve, and how you work best. So, in the very first month of the 6-month program, we are inspired by Aries and Libra energy to lay that foundation of who you are and how you help. So, that's when we use your astrology chart to write your mission statement, to give that statement that tells people who you are and how you can help so that they know right away when they find out about you what your deal is. And they know right away that you're the person that they've been looking for forever. We also do market research to help inform your overall brand strategy. So, this is when we figure out what makes your work special compared to other businesses who might offer the same thing that you do. I always like to tell people you are enough for enough people. That means that even though there might be other people who do the same exact thing you do, they're not going to be the same person as you. They don't have the same personality as you do. And so, this is how you really tap into like your special sauce and make it clear what that is so people know right away how you're different and special. We also talk about your offerings, like what are you offering? How do they fit together? How do they build off of one another? based on your unique strengths and how you are specifically suited to help people based on your cosmic calling. And we also talk about how to get inside your ideal customer's head and understand their problem really, really, really well so that you can create an experience where when they find out about you, they're like, oh my gosh, are they in my head? Do they know everything I'm going through right now? Because you're doing that groundwork for them. So they don't have to wonder, they don't have to email you, they don't have to read a million things. You're like, yep, I know how you're feeling. I know you need this. And the thing is, people do need what you have to offer. They just need to understand that. They need you to help explain it to them in a quick and easy way they can understand. So that's just the first month of the 6-month program. In the second month, we talk about making money the magical way. So this is about pricing your work, setting your money goals, and tracking your goals on a consistent basis. We'll also talk about creating a magical manifestation money ritual that you can do that will literally change your life. And this goes back to that mindset piece. If you were here at the beginning of the workshop, we took a moment to really tune into seeing yourself as a successful business owner, bringing in that consistent stream of customers and clients. Imagine if you had something like that that's really short that you did every day, and how that would change your actions and how you show up and run your business every day. We do a lot of mindset work like that to get you in the right frame of mind to believe you really can be this badass boss that you are deep down. And then also in the second month, we look at organizing the back end of your business so you always know what you're meant to be working on right now. You can schedule your time and plan your projects efficiently and kind of like have a strategy behind the scenes. So you're not just showing up every day being like, what should I do today? Or I need money. What do I do? And then last thing we cover is how to create a sales page that actually sells. So I look at tons of sales pages and a lot of not very successful ones, unfortunately. And there is like a strategy and a mindset that goes into creating a sales page where when someone comes to it and they get to the bottom of the page, they know for sure it's the right thing for them to buy. They don't have to like hem and haw over it. So we'll definitely go into that. Then in the third month, we get into soulful marketing. That's based on Gemini and Sagittarius energy. So, this is all about creating a marketing flow that turns your potential customers from being curious about what you do to being like, oh, yeah, she is the one for me. This is exactly what I need right now. I know you all know what that feels like because we all buy things, right? Those Facebook ads are very persuasive. Like, you know what it feels like when you're like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been looking for forever. And how do they know? So we'll talk about how to create that flow, like that platform of content, of evergreen content where people can get to know about your work and you create it once and it just lives on and sells for you. We'll also talk about streamlining your marketing strategy so that it feels fun and creative for you and not a big drag that you, or even something you feel like you have to do all the time. We also talk about finding your voice and selling without feeling slimy using your astrology chart. We all have a specific message that we're here to share and a specific way that we're meant to share it. And your astrology chart can help you tap into that. Because a lot of times we think we need to talk the way other business owners like us talk, but actually that's not going to feel right for you unless you're doing it in the way that you're meant to do it. And that's what makes showing up and speaking about your work a lot easier. Like it just flows instead of being like super strategic about it. You can just like come on the spot and talk about what you do. And then the last thing we talk about in the third month is how to stand apart from the crowd by going the extra mile. Then in the fourth out of 6 months, we get into your business strategy. But this is a little bit different than other business courses because we are very tapped into your intuition the entire time. So we actually start with working with the moon phases because we're taught in society to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 or whatever your deal might be. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to work that way or that often. The moon phases can help you find your flow instead of feeling like you do need to be working all the times that like everybody else is working, because that might actually be draining your energy and taking away from what you're here to do. Instead of, working more doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be more successful, right? We also use your unique astrology chart to find your monthly focus so that you know what you're meant to be working on each month according to the astrological weather. And it's very simple. And then you can plan your business moves around that. Instead of being like, oh my God, I have 50 ideas, you'll know, oh, this is the month for this. And that's going to flow so much more smoothly for you because the universe is going to make you work on it anyways. So you might as well sync it up with your actual to do list, right? We also help you create a promotion calendar for the long term so that you know what your launches are going to be for the year and you can plan ahead for them so that they can do even better instead of always being like, what should I sell now? Like, how can I make more money right now? You have this more long term idea of where you're heading in the future. So you can set yourself up for success for that even more and not be so scattered and kind of stressed by a lot of ideas at once. And then we also use astrology to help you promote the right offerings at the right times in terms of when people are actually craving the energy of what you sell. So we go much more into detail with that, but it makes it easier to sell when you're like, oh, I know what you guys want right now. Instead of, again, trying to persuade people at a time that they aren't likely to buy that type of product. And then in the fifth month, we talk about confident leadership and community building. So, this is where we get into showing up as a leader and how you can gain respect and trust as an expert in your field and kind of get rid of that imposter syndrome residue that might still be left over. So, you can come on and be like, yes, this is what I do. I'm proud of it. Let me tell you about it. I'm excited about it, and not feel so shy. I know I was so shy when I first started. So I'll help you kind of bust through that. We talk about cultivating an online community or audience that consistently buys from you. That's really what the whole process is about, but we get into more detail about that. How to expand your reach through networking, collaboration, and joint ventures. So we'll get into pitching yourself so that you can have that exponential growth of bigger and bigger audiences finding out about you. You plant those seeds and they will begin to flourish. So you can work less and less as the months and years go on. And finally, we talk about making the world a better place by harnessing your business for good to give back to important causes. It's so important that we keep in mind that running our business isn't just about making money. We're creating change in the world. We're shifting people's mindsets and beliefs. So we tap into how we want to do that and also explain that we're doing that. And then finally, in the last month of this program, we get into self care success strategies so that this can be a sustainable business for you. You're not going to burn out all the time. I know all about that. I burnt out a lot in the beginning of my business. And eventually, I learned how to not do that by supporting my mind, body, and spirit on a daily basis. So it's really all about sustainability. And then also, we talk about creating rituals to stay connected to your dream vision of what you want to achieve and believe you can, even when you might be feeling overwhelmed or discouraged along your journey, which happens to all of us. So that's everything that we cover in Cosmic Boss University to take you through this process step by step and actually show you how to do, walk you through it, and create that consistent flow of customers that you can have. It's so possible for you. It's just about laying the groundwork and being in that energy of belief. And you're going to have access to everything, all the support, videos, and workbooks forever. So, this is a process that people even will go through multiple times. Like, even every year, you might want to check in with yourself and be like, am I on track? Am I as aligned as I could be? Because we're going to keep evolving all the time, too. So, if you're interested in learning more, you can go to soulshineastrology.com/Cosmic Boss University to learn more about the program and read people's stories of who've actually gone through this program. There have been over 100 spiritual entrepreneurs that have gone through this step-by-step framework, and they are now working full time in their sole business, making a consistent stream of clients, customers, and income. And it's so fun to witness everyone's journey. This is a long-term program where we can really look at every aspect of your business and make it set up for success, not only now, but long term for many years in the future. So it's a really powerful investment that keeps giving back to you. And it also will allow you to help more people and create those amazing ripple effects that you're here to create in your work. So that's everything I wanted to share with you today. I hope you got some good ideas on things that you can update on your website already. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. My email is info@soulshineastrology.com, or you can DM me on Instagram if that's easier for you. But thank you so much for being here, everyone. It's really good to have you. Thanks for spending time with me today. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everybody. Take care.